Okay, I know this might seem like a strange title for a YouTube live stream, but I like to take what happens in life and see how it applies to slots gambling. And my life, and I'm sure yours, is full. Of course, I'll be taking your questions because this is a live stream. I'm only saying that because, of course, the people who are live here now know it's a live stream, but you might be watching this after the fact. In fact, video. So you might even be in the live chat, but like an hour ago, hour earlier. So hello to you that is watching this recording. Thank you for being here. Be sure to subscribe for notifications so you can have your questions answered the next time I do one of these. But if you're not here in the next 2 hours or so, but either way, stick around, and I'm sure it will be of value to you, even if you're watching this after the fact. But those of you who are here live, thank you so much. If you have a question, use hashtag question. I'll provide a banner that runs along the bottom of the screen for you. There you go. That's so I can be sure to spot your question to me instead of comments in the live chat to each other. After all, this is a community video where friends check in and about how their slots play has been going lately. I saw a professionally run YouTube, it might even be still be running, having to do with a couple of celebrities having a defamation case, and there was it was a live stream on YouTube about it. The live chat was just going so fast, I couldn't even, like, read it. I was, like, amazed. It's luckily, we have a little bit that we can handle here. Um, enough that we can handle here, at least for the time being. Um, but there are methods to handle that. But that I just saw that and I'm like, well, that's the future. Okay, so at 20 years old, what is that? 4 months. I got him at 2 months, 8 weeks. 8.5 weeks, and so I had him for about 2 months, and my puppy over there, can you see him? Let me, yeah, right, right there. He's at the top of the stairs. He's just kind of looking at us. Um, when he was much smaller, when he was 4 months, 5 months old, about that, Isaac got sick. Um, I had to do some research. He ate a dandelion, and I wasn't aware that dandelions were poisonous to dogs. I didn't, I I didn't know. He got better. Don't worry, he got better. But then he wouldn't poop. After a day, he kept barking and seemed to be telling me that he didn't want to poop because he was scared. He was holding it in, even though he didn't look comfortable. My face is red. Finally, the next day, I called his vet, who said to let him eat his usual amount of regular puppy food, not the little bit of soft food she'd given me to give him occasionally to help, keep his food down. He didn't have any problem keeping his food down, didn't go that way. But then, it's this is crazy, right? The situation that become normal when you're a doggy daddy, right? Anyway, I got out his usual food and put it down for him, and he gobbled down the whole thing and a lot of it. Then it was just, I just waited for the race to get outside fast enough, because accidents aren't a fun experience. And so a few hours later, he's in, about an hour, actually, a little more. He is in his favorite part of the yard, pooping like never before, and on again, off again for like 20 minutes. So here's the lesson: everybody poops. It's just a fact of life. It's not pretty, it's not elegant, it might be embarrassing depending on who's around and where you're at. Puppies being puppies, but it's something that everybody does. It dawned on me that this is exactly what happens with mistakes and risk in slots play. We hold our winning ideas, our passions, our dreams in because we are scared it might hurt to fail, fall, or flounder. I thought about this. I talk about this with members of my Slots Enthusiast Growth Network. That we are, you know, going to get our knees, are going to skin our knees in the casino, and there's no way around it. And this analogy works too. I don't know if you can see this. I skinned my elbow this morning when I tried to. Uh, Isaac and I are trying to figure out how to run together, and operator error, no blame. I'm not throwing the dog under the bus or anything like that. I just apparently I did something wrong, and my aunt broke her nose when she was doing that over the winter, and I didn't do that. I just, you know, here I am talking about skinned knees, skinned elbows, and look, I have one. So so that happens in casinos, when we're playing slots. So, everybody and every slots enthusiast is going to fail and make mistakes sometimes. It's not pretty, it's not elegant. It might be embarrassing depending on who's around, and but it's something that everybody does. It's just like pooping. Don't fight the poop. If you will, it will end up hurting and building up until you're stressed out, crying, not eating, and miserable. Just let yourself poop at the casino. And by that, I mean make mistakes. I'm not saying you should go so far as to leaving the door open and letting everyone hang out while you make mistakes in your slots play. Discretion is okay, but make sure and if you're making too many mistakes, seek professional help. But I'm really pushing this metaphor. But make sure you don't keep yourself from taking risks and doing great things in your slots play just because of fear. Kind of like me going with this title for today's live stream. It's either going to be a hit or it's going to be a terrible, probably both. And you can tell by my red face that I'm just sort of like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Fear is the mind killer, as Elon Musk says, quoting somebody else. So yes, I get I get into conversations with comments on YouTube, comments and emails about this fear that people have. And I don't mean risking money you don't have and not wanting to do that. That's a good fear. That fear helps us. It's your thoughts and your body, they're protecting you from danger. But when it comes time to go into the high limit room, and if you feel fear, that's probably not it. Then you want to try to have not be fearful when you got a handle on it, and you probably won't, in fact. But that takes time, and it takes some getting used to. And don't push it. Don't go too fast. But on the other hand, there's people that won't be aware. Thank you for the dog advice. My dog is on a leash, inside and out. It's something I was told earlier. He doesn't get at things as much as he would like to. There's this squirrel that he's just like, I don't, are squirrels a thing? He kind of looks at me like, are squirrels a thing? And I'm like, yes, squirrels are a thing. It's even more of a thing to go to the drive in the car with the window down. It's like that. And he's like, really? I'm imagining, of course. But for some, change is hard, and we have to kind of balance what's going on between being fearful of change and taking advantage of our casino. One example of this was I saw the 5-spin method in my casino, Belterra Park. Was it early 2014? And I was just like, what? I mean, I figured it out immediately, but I had a hard time believing it, even though the person was getting hand pays. 5-figure hand pays, over $10,000 hand pays, one after the other, after the other, after the other. And I'm just like blown away because I had never even imagined such a thing. It didn't exist at the casino that I had been going to. It was at the second casino that I went to that I saw this, and I'm like, there's different strategies, and basically the beginning of my developing, it's the casino. It's the casino operating system. They have to be trying to manipulate you in some fashion for the strategy that is the counter strategy. My strategy is a counter strategy for the casino's operating system. And just, that'll work if they have it. And so they had something else that I hadn't seen before, and I had the hardest time going and checking what's going, to actually do it. I was feeling fear. I was like, "Are they going to kick me out if I win?" Like that one person where he was just like, "Win, win, 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 win." It was just an amazing thing to watch, and they didn't seem upset, but eventually, they did something about it. Yeah. Yes. Camilla says the gift of fear helps us survive. The task is learning what to fear and what not to fear. So I agree. We have wonderful instincts that our ancestors gave to us, and it served them well by being able to get to us. So I don't have much for you today. Yes, the other cat is just like, what? And did I not feed you? Is it like, oh, it's 3 o'clock? You're gonna have to wait a couple hours. Yes, I know. Okay. So hello, everybody. I usually talk for a few more minutes. If you want to see what the topic is, you go ahead and go back to the beginning. It was amazing. I looked at some of the statistics for my Tuesday meeting, my Tuesday live stream. It was amazing. I had 1,700 people show up during the live stream on Tuesday, and a lot of people, weren't current. They were back watching the first part of the video. And so I had 248% views in the first 30 seconds, which I have not had before. I try not to be worried or scared about seeing that sort of thing. I understand why it happened. To have 248% participation, people watched it and then watched it again and then watched it again and then watched it again. On average, people will watch the beginning. On average, they watched it 2.5 times. If I could bottle that and put it in a perfume bottle and just like sprinkle it on me and my live streams, that would be awesome. Okay, so we have questions. Yes, so the next hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. Please ask your questions. Please use hashtag question at the beginning of your message, so that your comments, so that I can understand if it's for me, because there's a lot of people talking to one another. Like I said, this is a community event, and I'm glad it's a community event, but it is can be a little bit talking to me sort of thing. Yes, Dave, you have a nice cat named Angus. Okay. My cat is just like, it's funny, I figure out how to win at slot machines, and some people do things and some cats do things, and I'm like, if you make it like 10 minutes earlier every day, then you are trying to get fed more. And she pretends ignorance. Like I believe that. Okay, so decal, your methods do work. Thank you. $816 hit yesterday on a $20 fourth pull on a $1 pay. Wonderful. Congratulations. The people that win $200,000 or $20,000, sometimes I'll ask them, could you tip me $20? but don't worry. Yeah, you are a member of the Slots Enthusiast Growth Network. So, and I think the course, yes. So you paid your bills. Yeah, Dave, I'm envisioning many Facebook memes about I'm dying of starvation, the cat says, and have never been fed in my entire life. Congratulations. You want to share with us, Decal, you want to share with us what casino that was? Or you don't have to, of course. It's always nice to pin it down. It's 1 in 4 casinos, and so we need to keep finding these. Hello, Charles. Hello, Camilla. Hello to you. Maybe I should just do the wave symbol. Um, uh, Thanks to those who are members of my YouTube community. It does. I look for people who are members, and one of the things I need to do is make more custom emojis. Maybe I should make the wave one special. Right. Hashtag question. I love to play high limits anywhere from $25 to $100 per spin. If I want to get big jackpots, not 1,200 to 2,000 wins, what strategy would you recommend? So I'm a high limit player. That's how I started. Well, I started in 2004 and then took a 10-year break. But when I came, and thought about what I'd seen and had to reprogram what I thought of casinos, and also I was living in a part of the country which didn't have any good casinos. But then I moved to Ohio and everything happened, and that's where I spent my time on high limits. I have since decided to focus on you and you guys. And now I take a $300 bankroll just to see what that's like. So I was always taking, and so just to give you credibility, yeah. So there's two things to do. I know that you mentioned getting big jackpots, but there's also not getting more big jackpots, but leaving earlier to find ways to lose those jackpots less without affecting your winning. It could be a day of the week where if you look at the data, look at the spreadsheets, look at these things I provide, you look at what you recorded, and which also the IRS would prefer to have. If you look at these recordings, or these records, on your own going. Somebody was just telling me about, son of a gun, Mondays are great. I go every day, and Sundays and Mondays are great at this time. You can't sort of see it, but you can see it in the data, the peaks on the Mondays. Is there a bad day? If you were just to reduce the day that had the lowest wins, where you spent the same amount of money, but it had the least amount of wins, then profit equals revenue. What is it? Profit, revenue minus loss. And so what you spend, what you make minus what you spend is profit. If it's if it's positive number. So what you want to do is there's a couple things we can do and talk about, but what you can do is just try to cut out some portion of losing, something that will least affect your winning. It's very general advice, and I want to be specific. If you want to get big jackpots, not $1,200 and $2,000 wins, what strategy would you recommend? Yeah, check your records. Okay, it's everything about it's about the casino. It's about what they're doing. So you have records, I assume, even if it's a stack of W-2s. Look at them, see what day of the week is better for you on the days that you go, and don't go on the ones where you make $1,200, $2,000 wins. Is it every time you go? And where you are like, well, it's consistently $1,200 to $2,000 jackpots. Well, then, that is tight casinos. And so what you need to do is figure out how to lose less again. And there's a bunch of ways to do that. uh, loss limits, looking at your records, as I said, and this is how you up the amount you get out of the casino with. Yeah, less waste. I hope that answers it. If you want to have a paid consultation, we'll go, I'll get details from you and we'll go over it, that sort of thing. I'm sure $147 paid consultation will, more than pay for itself on high limits. It might more than pay for itself for people who have a $200, $100, $300 bankroll. So I'll spend half my bankroll to save my bankroll from now on, right? Really should raise that cost. Where are we at? Making sure lots of things going on. Dave has a question. All right. Gotta watch everything. If the high limit room is placed away from things like the gift shop and the food spots, what would you look for in that high limit room, or would you avoid? I would likely end up avoiding it. I saw exactly this in MGM Grand Detroit. It was, I guess it was put back in the back corner. You couldn't see into the high limit room because they had like a wall just inside the entrance, and one side was card tables, the other side was slot machines, and it was over in the corner. Have you been there? And you had to walk past the restaurant, not a view into the restaurant, just along the wall, until you saw like red curtains on the side of the doorway, and someone standing there, as a receptionist, basically. And on the other side, from the wall into the restaurant, was not the entrance, just the wall, and there was a big open area, which I guess they hold the World Series of Poker or something, but they weren't holding it then. So it was like, I'm going to trek across this football field and see what those red curtains are. And I found in that circumstance that I didn't have to go in, because it was just as bad as I could tell in advance of, okay, I walked over there, I went in, and I saw the most awful things I'd ever seen. $10 machines, $10 denomination machines next to dime machines, 2-cent machines next to $2 machines. I'm old, and I'm like, did you have some old real machines, obviously well worn, and you brought them in here because you couldn't get rid of them, and you had to put them someplace, but you didn't want to put them on the main floor where everybody was? It was just like, wow. But then there was one machine that was a winner, and I explained, from the center post, the column, to turn left, be right there, and it was just, I saw 2 hand pays on it. And the whole day that I was, 3 days, 3 hours that I was there, that was the only machine I saw a hand pay on, and I saw it twice in a few minutes. And I'm just like, that one. So while it was a terrible high limit room, that was where the machine was to win. So there's plenty of things that you can see. So yes, I wouldn't avoid it. I would listen to the caution that you're feeling, but you might go in and say, is there anything in here at all? Because you're not looking for a room that's packed and everybody's winning hand pays. You're looking for one machine to play. And if it has one machine to play, like MGM Grand Detroit, from now on, you wander into that casino and you happen to go by and you go play that one slot machine. That's what happened to me at Horseshoe Cincinnati. There was 2 machines on the back wall that I regularly played, and I got 54 hand pays in 6 weeks on those 2 machines, because they were high up and could be seen over the machines in front of them and out the door of the high limit room, right across all the table games. And it's just like, yeah, you know, uh, then I proceeded to wear out those chairs. Boring. But, making money. Figure I could always listen to a podcast or something. So how did you decide which best payout option to choose when you won the car? And did taxes make payout only 27K? No. Okay, so how this works with the car. Thank you, Linda, for the question. They said cash, check. And then they really pushed me hard on free play or take the car. They didn't push me hard on taking the car. They themselves, my host told me 99% of the people don't take the car. And so they seem to understand that was not going to happen. But they really kind of like, really went for the free play. Wouldn't you like to have $40,000 in free play? And I'm like, no. And they're like, why not? And I said, you don't win here on free play. You guys have given me free play before and it's just lost. And free play is only good for like a month. It stays in your account, and spending $40,000 in free play, setting aside that it doesn't work, is like, do you want me to be here every day for hours? I got a job to be able to do this. And, the only way you can use $40,000 is to spend it, over a couple of months maybe, and use it well, not, just let it drain away and waste it. I was like, no, that's not a good way to play. It's not a good strategy for this casino. And they were like shocked, and they asked me several times. And I'm just like, no. I said no. You listening to me? I'm saying no. And the other thing they were trying to do was get me to have my picture taken. And I'm like, I'm wearing a work shirt, not this work shirt. I'm wearing a work shirt, and I don't want to have this emblem put up. And they said, oh, well, if your objection is that we'll get a shirt, your shirt, then we'll just get you a new shirt. I'm like, my hand's shaking so much I didn't recognize my signature. The crowd's all around. Everybody's like yelling, whoa, whoa. And I'm just like trying to hear their questions and answer them intelligently. Luckily, I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew what I wanted to do, and just had to remember my answer. We've talked about that, right? What are you going if you win under a hand pay under $5,000? What's the plan? If you're going to win a jackpot under $1,200, what's the plan? You need 3 plans. One for between, $50. Let's say $500 to $1,200. Then from $1,200 to $5,000, where you might like, I'll keep half of it and spend the rest because. But then over $5,000, I don't know if you do anything other than just like get out. And so having 3 plans as a preserving gains money management technique, and I put at the top of the live chat links to those different tips that I have for money management. That would do that. Also, I don't know if you are aware of the tax forms. If you've ever been a contractor, you get paid in a 1099 miscellaneous. So if you talk to a tax expert, that's how contractors get paid. But it's also has another use. It's if you look in the documentation, it's also known as promotional prize. So if you win a lottery someplace, that's what they use to give you the money, and the taxes aren't due until the end of the year. I mean, until you do, I shouldn't say end of the year, it's until you do your taxes for the year. That's when it's due. I'm just so glad that they had a cash option, because then I put aside $10,000 from the $40,000 that they gave me, and then I went out and bought a Jeep. And I used to say this a lot. I'm not a Mercedes-Benz kind of guy. I'm a Jeep kind of guy, Jeep Wrangler kind of guy. And so I went out and spent $30,000 on that, and I saved the rest for taxes, which turned out to be a good idea because I was making a profit that year. I want to thank, where am I at here? I always want to remember to do this for folks. Where are you at? I didn't open a file. I should have opened a file. Oh my goodness. Right there. And audio clip. Thank you so much, Decal, for your donation of $25. It is very much appreciated. I am not a rich man. I'm living off my savings, trying to make this business successful, and and kind of like I'm good this month. It's only like 21 days left. Next month, kind of looks like I might be okay. After that, I probably have to sell my car, and then I'll be good for spending that. It's a great time to sell a used car, right? and with everybody like getting Amazon at home, it's quite possible. So I don't mean to get any sympathy here. I'm just saying I'm trying to make this business work, and we will see if I if I do. I hope so. Also, I want to say Slot Savvy PK. Thank you, Pamela, for your donation of $5. It is appreciated, and good luck with your situation. I know, and thank you so much for your support. It is much appreciated. Last Saturday, I was on her live stream and spent a few minutes just saying hi. And then I talked to you guys on Saturday, and my voice had to get through those 2 hours with when it was actually 2.5 hours. So thank you. Right. And I don't want to miss any questions. It can get a little confusing when everything's scrolling quickly. That last live stream, I'm telling people a few minutes before it starts, and on my list, 90 people right now concurrently, and 209 views. I got to 1,700 last time, which just blew my mind. I got done, and I'm looking at the numbers, and I'm like, "What the heck?" So I will keep trying to answer your questions. So I. Please remember to use #question. I will not try to skip. Greg, you're looking for information on Riverside Casino in Iowa. Let's see. I'm trying to Riverside or Lakeside. If you want to, okay. So I have. I don't. I don't look for other things on Facebook. If you go to professorslots.com/FBIA, it'll take you to my Facebook group, and you can ask to join, and you can find out what's going on there. If you're here and you just got here, I talked for about 10-15 minutes at the very beginning, and I don't want to repeat it again for the people who stay longer, but just quickly run back and see if that left you with any questions, and then zip back to the future, to current time, and we will I'll take your questions. Let's see. I'm going to keep on saying it. #question. Lisa says, new casino in Gary, Indiana, Hard Rock Casino. Wonder if the slots are tight just because it's a Hard Rock. Usually what happens when you are at a new casino, you can watch professorslots.com/ABC27. I'm saying all this rather quickly, but if you were to and if I was to share, Share. There we go. If you were to go to professorslots.com, this is my webpage, professorslots.com. You go all the way to the bottom, and it says as featured here. And I won't play it now, but that is a link to ABC Evening News in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, where they talked about how a casino that's just opened is a wonderful place to be when it just opened. And some casinos, it's great the first month and not after that. And some casinos, it is great the first year and not so much after that. And I've been to both. And you can just see it in the return statistics too. But that's later when those come out. And in the meantime, you're trying to find a way to win now. So there you go. So I don't think it's going to be tight unless it has how long since it's been open. I think was that one. It's not the new Roxino, right? If we go to, yeah, let's do that. Let's dive into this. This is the sort of details that I get into when doing a paid consultation. Just find, get answers to your questions for you and, apply my brain to your problems. And this should be Iowa. And there is a map here. And I hope that it's not too small for you. Some people are on computers, but other people are on. There's a large picture of it. Let's see. We are looking for. Is that right? Indiana. I'm sorry, Indiana. Let me back up. And somebody was asking about Indiana, about Iowa. Where are you at? Yes. No. What the heck? Yes, here it is. Okay, proposed casinos are at Terre Haute, and Hard Rock is open. So this has probably been like a year since it's been open. So it's probably at the point where they're trying to get some of their money back in their investment. And yeah, I would say, long time to get that answer. Yeah, it's probably tight. Let's go check if it's tight. Iowa is one of those that I have finished. Let's see, this would be I'm bouncing all around in my folders, answering random questions. I have an Indiana return statistics report that I did, and it's not the latest, but let me see if I can. I did it in March, and I'll show you the image. Yeah. Okay, so here it is. Again, the benefits of a paid consultation. So this is from the beginning of 2019 to the end of last year. There's a few more that have come out. I've highlighted Horseshoe Indianapolis because I was writing this for the report of when I went to Horseshoe Indianapolis and I found a way to win. But you can see how hard it is when they're just about the lowest almost every month for the last year and a half. But Hard Rock. Hard Rock had not been opened yet. So it has been very recently that they opened. Interesting. So I have to see what so if you go look at the returns, you can see if they've dropped yet. Yeah. Next week should be when I put out this report with the latest statistics. So you can just wait a little bit for it if that's okay. Wow. When I get out the spreadsheets that it's like, my apologies. Okay. What are your thoughts on the new casino opening up in Reno Sparks? Legends Bay, I think, is what it's called, being a new casino. Do you think it will have a lot of good slots? Um, what happens with the new casinos is there's a couple different types. Do you is it a not a new casino? Is it a renovation of a casino property? That's you know, people are used to the casino being there then. If it's was a patch of desert, if it was a patch of, a cornfield next to a river and people around it are like, "Casinos? We've never had a casino here." That's different. It's like the Palms on the Las Vegas Strip. That opened, but but it was, closed for 3 years. So they probably wanted to get some people in because it's not like they just changed the name and now it's a new casino and it never closed for a day. Well, they closed for 3 years. So is it truly new? That's the first question versus somebody put a new name on it because that happens when they put a new name on the building. They ordered those 6 months ago, and a couple months before that, they actually changed ownership. So whatever you were worried about happened back then. Um, all right, I saw a ownership change at a casino the day it happened. And how did I do that? I I got a new W2G with a new name on it. I don't even know why I noticed it. It was just like, "That's a different name." And, yeah, they got purchased the day of that, rather, the day before, and they have to tell the IRS first, "You guys," me, the public, 9 months later, if that, when the signs that they have to order are put up. Um, there's a possibility, Dave. You might want to evaluate it. It might be worth the risk to check. And if it is a winning place, take advantage of it as much as possible, uh, and see how long it lasts because it will end. That's the other thing you have to be aware of. This is a way to find great casinos, but my friends at Horseshoe Cincinnati thought it was them. They didn't realize it was the casino, and so, they lost, on the 3rd year it was open. It was great the 1st year, it was okay the 2nd year, and the 3rd year, they got their money back. And, um, and I see questions. Make sure you add a hashtag question, and, so I can recognize your comment and is for me. Uh, and to you, getting my nails done today, made $50 yesterday. It's the small things, right? Um, okay. I don't see a hashtag question, but you can't add it later. What happened to Miami Valley Gaming? They used to let trucks park there. Well, they lost my money today. Yeah, they haven't changed the entrance at all. Um, uh, you know, they have multiple, 4-aisle entrance, 2 that turn in. As you know, why did they stop? Must have been an incident or enough of them or something. I can see where people in a car, uh, um, you know, might have caused problems. That's usually the case, right? And uh, didn't expect to see one in the parking lot, and eventually the casino made a decision. I mean, they wouldn't turn them away unless there was something happening that would be more of effect on their reputation, the negative effect. Um, okay, slot savvy PK. Is the new Palm going to be fairly giving to Vegas, or because they have been spending money on renovations? Would that be tight? Would it be tight? We should just. Oh, there's a way to do this. Nevada return statistics are not like Indiana return statistics. They don't offer by casino. They offer by revenue of the casino. And we don't know what the revenue would be of Palms for April, when they were only open 4 days, well, I guess we could put them under the lowest revenue, and we can check it against May, and we can see if they pulled down all the other circus, the other low revenue casinos, and see if it was low or see if it was high. I don't think that April has come out yet. It might have. It's usually right about now that it comes out. So we can speculate, but why not just go check the data? And then the question will be, are they still doing it in May? Right? I like, when possible, to use the database decision making, and you know, um, that reminds me. Yeah, thank you. So let's see here. Where am I at? I don't want to lose my spot. Yes. Okay, so Tammy says, I need to go back and find your channel where you explain how to identify a slot. Lost so much this past weekend. Do you know about the date you posted? Do you have a title? I mean, I can't organize YouTube any more than YouTube allows me to organize. Okay. So it sounds like what you're looking for is a strategy. And so if you go to my website, which is home base, I have organized that. So let me go here and I will show you what that looks like. There. So and I'll put your comment away so you can see more. See where it says strategies? Can you see my mouse? Depends if you have a big screen. Let me make my mouse bigger, which is a great feature. Okay, so if you go here and you click that, which I will do here, some things will pop up like that. I'll put away as quickly as I can. This is my strategy, my category strategies. So there's articles here about each of my strategies, and why don't you go look for the one that I talked about? And there's 3 pages worth, and go looking for them without a specific title or even kind of what the title was. No, I mean, I have my records, but I don't know what you mean. I talked about winning. Let me see if I can think about this. I need to go back and find your channel where you explain how to identify a slot. Identify how? Do you remember? Because probably location. And that strategy is listed under the list there. These are articles, but at the beginning, if I made a video about it, I put it in at the beginning of the article, so you can watch the video. Probably that one. Location. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that would be it. Shawana. I know it depends on the casino, but in your opinion, is May and June good times to receive money on slot machines? It's a cycle, and it seems like April's good. January, February, March, April, maybe a little bit of May, as long as you're not like in Las Vegas during the NFL draft, and then June, July, and then August. So it's like 2 months up, 2 months down, 2 months up, 2 months down. And this is why I recommend keeping a record, because there are, I started my online course May 8th. So it's been a year and almost 2 weeks. And I recommend there for, those hundreds of people to take my templates, which come free with the course, and just go ahead and start noting, comments. And then, was it a good night? Was it a bad night? Whatever. And then you can review those next year, which is where we're at now. And you can say, now I know how May is. Now I know how June is. Now I know how July is, because it is about how the casino is doing it. And we sort of got away from this, right? There is we had our big brouhaha 2 years ago where everything closed, and that kind of blew away the statistics. It also made the talk about our topic today. It made the casinos go in their pants, shall I say? They got scared. They got scared, and that's to this day even affecting things. And that's the sort of thing where we want to, make sure we're kind of in the clear at this point, sort of coming out of it. And now May's being busy last year means May being busy this year, or high odds or low odds starts to make sense again. Where 2 years ago, it's like, well, they weren't even open. How do I know? And so, I know it takes a year. I know it takes a year to get these records. But then you have them about your casino. And that's the approach. Be over it before you know it. May seems to be kind of, first part was okay, but the last part is, I listened to my 57 Facebook groups, and the one with 18,000 Professor Slots enthusiasts. And I'm like, I listen for silence, if that makes sense. I listen for, I'm not seeing as many wins, right? Or from where, because they often mention which state they're in. And I'm like, things seem to be really kind of like, it was good first part of the month, but second part of the month, not so much. And I use that, I get that feedback from, all these places that I just basically, on my Facebook groups, I'm listening. I'll post, come to this live stream, but that's about it. And so people aren't asking questions; they're showing their wins, and telling me what their misconceptions and myths are. Not that they know it, and then I know it, and I can do an article on it or a live stream on that topic, which is helpful. Yeah. Lisa says, no, but I love to. This is fun. This is how I have fun. If I could bring out the spreadsheets, I will. There's a book that called Hench, and I can't pronounce the last name, so I won't try. And it's a science fiction thing, and there's this henchman, female, and she becomes a supervillain. I don't want to give away the story, because she gets really good at spreadsheets. And I was just like, oh, that's totally me. I will go with a fairy tale next. I will say, I'm Briar Rabbit. Please don't throw me in the briar patch. Please, it's my home. I mean, question. Which Greater Cincinnati casino is currently your favorite for achieving your personal slot goals? I'm not trying to achieve my personal slot goals. I'm trying to write reviews. This job, somebody was asking me that, I think it was Tuesday. I'm working 80, 90 hours on this job. Who's got time for a hobby? I got a dog. That's my hobby. I do go to casinos, but it's not for fun and relaxation. Although I do enjoy my job, and so it is fun, and I try to go a new to me casino. But it has been a while since I've been to Belterra Park, so I wrote an article on Belterra Park and what methods I saw there that worked. I made a mistake when I went to Hard Rock Cincinnati. I got overwhelmed by the memories. And I I brought a $300 bankroll, but I was treating it like a $3,000 bankroll, which is what I used to do. So I hadn't realized there would be such a I'm a high limit player, and I'm trying to do a review as though I'm a low limit player. And that was all kind of like wacky. I didn't even make a review, a report, a video for that one, because I was so startled. It's easier for me to walk into a new to me casino, Newport Gaming, Horseshoe Indianapolis, which had just changed its name from being Indiana Grand, even though they didn't change owners. The owners decided to change the name. Caesars bought them 5 years ago and just waited on changing the name. But which Greater Cincinnati casino is currently your favorite for achieving your personal slot goals? I don't have those personal slot goals. This job is, I'm dedicated to it. I'm dedicated to helping you. Now I have gone and done a review on Belterra. If you want to read it, I've done a review on Miami Valley Gaming. If you want to read it on my website, there is a. So if we go here, that would be under reviews. And I'll clean this up as soon as it appears. And so these are in order of when they were. This was a casino that I went to a few years ago, and Foxwoods was before that. But then Brighton, I also have reviews of Delaware Slots Return to Player, and I have others like that. And there's 4 pages of these. So you'll find, I had an old article on Miami Valley Gaming, which I then updated. There's the MGM Grand. It was a blizzard at the time. And then I did Colorado returns, Horseshoe Indianapolis. There's that return. Hollywood Gaming Dayton, and Newport Gaming. You might be interested in those if you want to take a look. And Hollywood Lawrenceburg, Miami Valley, Maristar in Missouri. I keep on. So these are reviews. And the one you're asking about is, did I not? I have a review on Belterra Park. I must have not put the tag on it. I will have to put the tag on it so it'll show up under reviews. My goodness. But I won't do that now. And I really want to go back to Horseshoe Cincinnati. It's not just I realize there's not just the fond memories. The way that I won still works there. They were bought by Jack, and then they were bought by Hard Rock. But when I did my evaluation, I moved 30 miles away and bought a house near Dayton, outside of farmland, and in farmland. And so it's not convenient to go that far. And so I was going to the local casinos to learn them and building my business. But I'm excited about Hard Rock Cincinnati because the location works just fine. And I now understand it better and realize that's why I won in 2013, 2014 with all those hand pays. And I'm itching to go. Belterra Park, it seemed fine. I got to the second to top tier there. That was interesting, but it was, it's a horse track. It kind of looked a little run down a little bit when I was there. I can break even on my returns. That's what the article mentions, and just kind of like last for a long time using the 5-spin method. But maybe if I went back and did the 5-spin method at the times, 12:30 in the afternoon on a Sunday, and see if I could duplicate it. But when I last left, it had gone from over 10K hand pays to under $1,200 to $500. That would be how much I made. And if I brought in $300, I'd make $200. And that was such a reduction from the original that I'm like, am I really kind of like worth it? You have to you get one at the time. It was definitely Sundays at 12:30 in the afternoon, after noon. And that was it. And you come back a week later, and I appreciate the couple $100, but yeah, I feel excitement about hard rock. I want to try some stuff. um, yes, there is a little YouTube pillow that I have on my couch. I also have a cat who's lying in front of the word subscribe, and that's her spot. And I'm just like, could could I maybe rotate the pillow so that it would be upside down subscribe at the top of the pillow? What do I do? What do I do? All my plans have proven to be less likely. Um, let's see. Dave has a question. Yeah, ask hashtag question, and so that I can spot your question. We're got another hour before my voice will likely give out. Let me take a sip of water so it lasts that long. I'll keep on answering questions. If you're interested in what I talked about for this before taking questions, just zip back to the beginning of the live stream. It's about 10, 11 minutes of talking about that topic, and then I just start taking questions, some of which are kind of on that topic, but right. Dave says, follow-up. Apparently Legends Bay is the first new casino in Reno Sparks in 26 years. Wow. I don't have an immediate answer for you. I have thoughts. And so you can consider these thoughts, which is, do you remember when MGM Springfield opened in Massachusetts, right there on the border to Connecticut? A year before that, because I happened to be out there, and I, spent 6 years in Connecticut, so I was familiar with some of the things. And I have friends there who met me when I first started doing all this in 2016. I'm talking about you, Dice Shark, and they were being treated so well by Foxwoods and Mohegan Sun started a year before MGM Springfield opened, because what they were trying to do was build up loyalty in their players, and they had enough money to do this so that when MGM Springfield opened, it never knew what hit them. Now, how competitive are the casinos in Reno and the greater Reno area? How vicious, how experienced, how and Mohegan Sun and Foxwoods competed with one another for many years, so they got their skills to a fine level, and then they started working together against MGM Springfield. Which after the first year, was the general manager fired or just reprimanded? He was just like, I don't understand. We had all these plans and it's just not working, and it's just like they walked into it. Oh my goodness. So, is it like that, or is there no competition in the Reno greater area? And that's my question, because they could fail. That can happen when the other casinos consider it. One thing you could check is to see who the owners are, because if some of the other casinos are owned by the same people, then they have a friend. That's the direction to start from, I would say. Gordon has a question. When a casino is expanding into a resort, oh yeah, that's an interesting topic. It's almost like a casino versus casino resort is like a legal term, and I don't know how they decide it's a resort or not. But it seems to be very specific. A bunch of casinos in Nevada, I went through all the casinos in Nevada, and some had to remove the word resort from their title, from their official name. And I'm like, did they, what? There's something in the gaming regs which maybe explains that, but I haven't dug into that other area that's really not about slot machines, and like, wow, there can't be called a resort unless you are a resort, and we changed the definition of resort, so everybody has to change it. Wow, wow, wow. um, and so right, so there's expansions, and they're able to choose a resort, and also having a hotel and sometimes a golf range. Does it tighten its machines to pay for that expansion? Any advantage to going elsewhere for gaming? It does uh, tighten its games to pay the bill, but the bill doesn't come until after it opens, right? Until after the renovation opens, because while building, there's fees and all of that, but they don't actually start payments until the construction's done. And that's when they start saying, how do we pay for this? Well, we'll take it out of the machines. So I've found that it's a great time to go when uh, it's being constructed, but then immediately after it's done is, it can be a year before it stops being tight. Yeah. Oh, and hotels cost money. They don't make money from hotels because they're giving rooms away for free. But it helps them do business. But it is it helps them do business, but it is not necessarily uh, a moneymaker. And so that can be, how do they pay for that? And that's another reason for them to not have as high a return as before. Next question. Do you think my bingo hall will ever stop paying out with its 5-spin method? Oh, Colt. Yeah, we had a consultant and a long conversation, and it's amazing. I think you said you tried the 5-spin method at 3 bingo halls with with bingo machines, and it only worked at one of them, which is really insightful because I've had some people sort of try and didn't really talk about it, and kind of sent me a comment, and I was like, maybe it doesn't work. It did work, but it also seems to be a casino setup that they purchased. Interesting, interesting, interesting. They can't remove it without it being like a big event. If they got rid of the casino with where the 5-spin method works, you have to shut them all down, and even a day down would be like an awful expense, not to mention the cost of switching out and removing it, that return. So I would say they wouldn't get rid of it. I would say they would turn it down because there's no cost to that. They just say, well, the tastes are going to be worth less than you bet. And that's effectively off without the cost and to them. And so, but then they might turn it up on a busy night or not busy night. So then from that point on, I know you're winning now, but from that point on, that casino, you may have to watch for when it works, and look at the schedule. Right. Mindset, motivation. What is considered a winning slot machine? The one that's viewable from where? The bar, restrooms. Okay, so that's it. If you are, I have 10 strategies. Okay, so pick one and see if your casino provides winning slot machines if you use that strategy. Okay, so you're talking about location, location, location. Well, I've found that in some places like Soaring Eagle, the casino has set it up so every machine that's on the end of a row, because it's viewable from the main aisle for a little bit, that's a winning machine. But I found MGM Grand Detroit to be the main intersection and one machine for people walking towards the exit, the parking structure, and for people walking away coming in from the parking structure, and that was it. So they can be 2 machines, or they can be 10% of the machines. Again, depends on the casino. I make this sound complicated. It is not. You walk through a few casinos, you try the machines, and you go look for the biggest aisle, and you follow it to the biggest intersection. If the casino has location, and so far it's been like everyone except a Delta Downs, and they just made a change there. So it's like 99%. And if you go and they don't have a machine at that intersection, then they don't have that. But they probably wouldn't have an intersection. They probably wouldn't put machines on the end of the row, not on the end machine in the row, but I mean capping it. And it's really obvious when they don't have anything, but it can be tough, like MGM Grand Detroit, where it was just those two machines. A little bit on a third one over in one other side, I remember now. But then there's more. And so how's your casino going? If you were to walk through a few casinos, and I don't know that you have that option, you can start picking up on this pretty fast. It didn't take me much time at all to notice, but then I go to new to me casinos a lot. Monopole, magnetic monopole. Those are theoretical constructs in theoretical physics. What? Sorry. Somebody made a comment to one other person. I'm like, that makes me interested. Right. I'm a physicist. That's what I started out as. I also have engineering degrees and a management degree. And if you look right there, you'll see less than half of my degrees. There's 8 of them up there. Anyway, physics, engineering, and one's mathematics, and the other one's a engineering business degree. So I don't know if you should call that engineering. It's Master's of Science in Engineering Management from the University of New Haven. So is that an engineering degree or is that a management degree? Hashtag question, when you say location 3X works at Hard Rock Cincy, okay. I thought you meant something else. Do you mean in the high limit? I found it outside of the enclosed area. It was one of those Daifu. One of the things I can't do is share on my website. I can share on YouTube. So let me see if I can find you my picture I took back at, is that where I'm at? That's Belterra Park. And the earlier trip was, that was Firekeepers. Okay. And then before that, I went to, yes. Okay. Can you see this? Let me not do that there. I don't know if you're on a television monitor or if you're on a phone. This is, I think, a Daifu. No, it is Jinsdao. You can maybe see it a little better there. And this is a machine, and that is pointed towards the entrance. So it is pointed towards the entrance near the elevators, and it's just outside of the little circular area that's kind of like a bar, and that's the machine. That's a machine I just had a great time on, and then I realized that I was totally off script on my review, and I was just like, I guess I'm here for personal reasons. Surprise! And so that's the machine I want to say. How does the Talking Stick Casino in Arizona stack up? Have you been there? Nope. If I go to 2 casinos a week for every week of the year, I will have been to every casino in the country in 10 years. But Knowing that, I started an Arizona Slots Enthusiast Arizona Slots Enthusiast Facebook page, where some people there just went last night. So maybe ask them, because I know I can't get to 1,000 casinos in the United States, a week or anything, crazy like that. So I planned a way to do that, which is for you to talk to local slots enthusiasts. Facebook is free. I not everybody's too crazy about Facebook, but and I can certainly appreciate that. But that's what I was able to set up for you. So ask them. But you get what you get. Joan, please add #question. Otherwise, I just don't see it. Lots of conversations occurring between people. Okay. So, question. We'll be going to Las Vegas, MGM Grand, on the 4th of July. I've been there on the 4th of July. I went a couple of times on the 4th of July, and that's packed. I swear that the second time I was up on the 20th floor, I think it is, on the Caesars Tower, and they were outside. The explosions were outside the window. It was just like right there, and I'm like, wow. But the second time I watched it from the street, and it was just shoulder to shoulder packed. It was pretty. Get your spot early, but I was fun. That was fun. Will slots play be better on the 4th or the day after? What happens, because I've seen the crowds, it's when the crowds leave. And, when will they leave? I forget this year when the 4th of July is, if it's on a weekend or not. But California has it off, and so they come and visit. And the day of is tough. Now, if you see an opportunity, if there's, some other strategy that you want to try, reconnaissance, just walking around and if you spot somebody winning and they leave, take that machine, I don't want to say don't play, but the odds are terrible. You can overcome them with some strategies, but you're like, overcoming a lot. You need to be able to overcome something. So I would wait for them to leave. And when exactly would that be? Yeah, I would have 3 days, 4 nights, and I was able to get there before the 4th of July and leave after. Before people arrived and after people left. So put 4th of July on the second day, third day, and I spent 4 nights there, and I managed to miss the exodus and the incoming crowds, and that's what you gotta wait for. Have I tried 6 spins, 6 tries, 6 spins? Yeah, that's one of the things you can try. Some people say that they like 8 spins on the 5 spin method, and other people say 3 is better. It has to do with if you always have to go to 5 spins to get a taste, then maybe 6 spins would be better. But if every time you never make it to 5 spins because it hits on the first or second time, it's not like you spent, the money for 5 spins, because you just would have gone that far if it had happened, but it never did. So that's really a 2 spin method. And so, that can be, I chose what I thought would not be too conservative and would most likely work at the most number of casinos and not be too many to waste money. And I said 5 works for me. But there's 3 people use 3 and people use 8. By the bar. Yep. Did a cat show up? Yeah. Yeah. Somebody asked me a sci-fi question. How did you guess? I have this loft. It's a bedroom. I have a master bedroom. That's where I sleep. There's two downstairs bedroom, and one of them I converted into a video studio, and the other one is for science fiction and fantasy. I would not give that up. Yes, I've read Ring World by Larry Niven and Jerry Parnelli. Tut tut, both of them. Is it? I think some of those, the Ringworld trilogies, some of them, series, some of them were only written by one of the authors. But anyway, Colt, what's the difference in denominations? The difference in denominations we learn from states that have return statistics, database decision making. Okay, we can talk about it as a lot of people do, but I point to data. And so there are 6 states that provide return statistics by slot machine denomination. There are 20 states that provide return statistics, monthly return statistics, but not, at all. And then of those 26 provide penny slots, quarter slots, nickel slots, all the different denominations. In fact, Mississippi says whether or not it's a progressive machine. 5-cent progressive, 5 cent. 10-cent progressive, 10 cent. It's lots of line items, but they don't say whether or not it's multi-denominational. But Nevada does, multi-denomination. So when we look at that, we can spot trends. And there's a huge trend, which is the worst odds are on penny machines and on every one of them for every month, except once in Colorado last year in Cripple Creek, and it's just like, yeah, something happened. And so if you are in a state, if you're in, okay, I see the questions coming up. If you're in a state that doesn't have return statistics or has return statistics, but not by slot machine denomination, that's good information that penny slots are the worst. Now, there's so many of them that you can sometimes find a few that don't raise the average, which are winners. When they have 10,000, penny machines in Mississippi, there's a few on the outliers, and there's ways to try to find those and see if you can win, but not bring the average up, which is the lowest. But then there's others where more than a few of them, not always, are the best returns are in the 5-cent machines, on nickel machines. And, it's not all of them, but it's enough for me to go, gee, I should play those. Now, penny machines are not the most common machine anymore. Multi-denomination is just a little bit more. It's tipped to the point where now there's multi-denomination machines are more common. You can see the data and the numbers, and it was neck and neck, but now multi-denomination is pulling out ahead. Nickel machines, there's so few of them. It's like 1% of the penny machines, but then that might be 100 machines when there's 10,000 penny machines. So it can be hard to find nickel machines to take advantage of that return. Jackpot Jade. Professor, if you know from both statistical data and playing for yourself that a casino is tight, would you avoid it or test strategies aimed at limiting your losses? That's a great question. I kind of reminds me of a question where somebody was like, would you go with me to the casino and show me how to win? I'll pay you. And I said, no. And they said, why not? And I said, because I can go to the casino and win without getting part of the winnings. It would be 100% mine. And they're like, oh. So if I was at a casino, there are people that are in tough situations, people who live close to there are people that are go to Hard Rock, Tampa, and there's not another casino within 300 miles. And believe me, the casino knows that. The Hard Rock Tampa knows that. And so it's a tough situation when you can't win and when it's the only casino and you're not much of a traveler. And so what do you do? I would check each of my strategies if I was forced to. If I couldn't go someplace else, I would check each of my strategies and see if any one of them worked, and then if it worked well enough to be a good return. Otherwise, what? You know, the solution is to save your money and go to Las Vegas once or twice a year instead of going to your local casino, which you lose at once a week. That's a hard decision to make. But when you have competition, and that's part of what the last little bit of ABC, the professorslots.com/ABC27 is about, where they talk about why is Penn National so tight. It shows in the returns that it's been so tight since the first year it opened. Why is that? And because there's no local casinos, and the anchors talk at the end of that about that. Up in Philadelphia, there's a whole bunch of casinos, and they back and forth, and they're competing. But in Penn National, they hold the people, against that, and say, well, you can either travel up to Philadelphia or you can come every night, which your choice, and they make it hard. Yeah. Where are the individual? Okay, so if you type, let's share this again. professorslots.com/FB. Here you go. professorslots.com/FB. And these are each of my main one with 18,000 members, Professor Slots Enthusiasts. It's call it national or international, global. And then all these others are for people who happen to be passing through Wyoming or live there or something and are visiting. Yes. Yes, thank you. And so if you go there, click on each one of these. I won't show you what they look like because I've told people it's private. And so you have to be a member to see what's going on. Yep, you're welcome. I saw the Ringwald comment again. Yeah, but it's not too many. You just check. So to answer that question, yep, just cleaning house a little bit. Sorry about those things. And yes, Virginia says I tried the one spin, the 5-spin pull method, 5-slot pull, and it worked on the first spin. And people are like shocked, and now you know what I mean when I saw it and people were winning hand pays, and I'm just like, but how, what? Yeah. Hey, Kissy Cat. Yeah, things are going great. Let me see if you have a question. Anybody has a question here? Good questions back and forth with people. Mary asks a question. What about a holiday with a Caesars tier promotion? So if there's a crowd, either because of holiday or a promotion, that's what you need to check the next morning between 4 and 6 in the morning, a.m. Not the whole 2 hours, but go and you don't spend any money and you just see if anybody wins big. And it's really obvious because most casinos don't have a lot of people there. And then that method works. Now, I usually go 3 times because sometimes the casino gets it right. They follow it. Uh, uh, it seems it sorry, there's lots of things to watch for in the live stream, live chat. So, what they may have a promotion on a holiday and nobody shows up, or it's not the crowd they were expecting. And so when you do that, you um, that's not the next morning. Needs to be a crowd. So sometimes they fail. Sometimes they aren't successful. And let's see. So if it is a multi-denomination machine, choose the higher denominations. No. I think you're referring to the myth that higher denominations have better odds. I'm recognize that I'm stating that wrong. I'm stating what you hear, what people say is when you bet with a higher denomination, you win more. What they're not saying, they didn't say, is you had better odds. Yes, if you make a bigger bet, then it's quite possible to win more. But I made profit. I made a profit and had a growing bankroll with minimum bets and lost money steadily at maximum bets. But you know what? I went from a 90-cent bet and I won $20 constantly. And I grew my bankroll. After an hour, I went from 100 to 200 to 300. I switched to the maximum bet, $4.70. So it went up by 5x. I was paying 5x more. Did my wins go up from $20 to $100? No, they went up to $35. So it didn't even double. I made a 5x bigger bet and I made more money on my wins individually, but my odds percentage dropped. So it did not increase the wins by 5x. It increased it a little under 2x. And that's the same example that you're talking about with higher denominations. Is it better odds? Or is it just more money and you lose? But it's exciting to win that much money and slowly spend all your money. And my cat came along and said, let it go. Question. Do you follow Slots Ninjas on YouTube? She uses your method and praises it regularly. Do I follow? Yeah, I think I have 2 YouTube accounts, and one of them, no subscribers. I just, if you see somebody called Johnny with my picture, that would be it. And then there's my work account, Professor Slots. So I often will follow some people with my not Professor Slots account. Yeah, I think they're fine. I'm, this is entertainment. There are a few people that try to include some sort of education. I think my favorite is Nelly777 because of his work on bankroll money management. And he also tried to make something of the 5-pull method a couple of years before I offered it. And he failed. I mean, that's what he had said, and didn't turn it into a business. But then I have 10 methods and bankroll money management. And he didn't invent 5-pull method. I didn't invent the 5-pull method. I saw it on a Columbo episode and reruns. Okay, I wasn't watching it when I was 9. Watching the show when I was 9. And so yeah, there's a few of them that I like, but it's I don't get any content from it, and I'm a little busy to be, I got a puppy if I want to have fun. I don't see anything. I don't have anything against them, but I don't see anything helpful. They are there to entertain you, and they do a great job at it. And I try to entertain you, but mostly I'm just trying to help you. The difference between most other slots channels, and I mean all but me and one other guy, and there's a professor that had one video, they're entertaining you. You watch them and you live vicariously through them by enjoying their wins, and it's great entertainment. Or you learn from me and a few other people, very few other people, less than what's on one hand, and you get money in your hand. Ultimately, who do you think's going to win? Entertainment or making money for you? Question: does 5-pull method only work on high limit machines? No, not at all. I realized that on my first video on the 5-pull method, 5-spin method, for one thing, I had to change the name to something a little better. Then I kind of talked about my experiences of being a high limit player, and showed videos of my doing it and all of that. And people were like, okay, so I never played high limits before, so I guess I'll just have to play high limits. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. If you're not gonna, if you can't afford to comfortably, spend the money you brought with you, then no, I'm not trying to get anybody to do high limit. If a casino is giving out taste, they give it out on all their machines. So go out to the low limit, go out to the main casino floor, make minimum bets, and find out if they have taste. And if they do, then make whatever is for you that is a normal bet, a regular bet, and just proceed that way. There's people that go to the high limit room and after watching my video of casino that they have never been to the high limit room, and I'm like, well, I guess we're all gamblers. I mean, I really should expect people to be like, I'm going to take a shot. Sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. But I'm like, it takes 15 minutes and $50 to, go and do it on the main casino floor with minimums. Minimum bets. But here I am trying to be cautious and hold people back, and no, it's not just high limit machines. It is all machines if the casino has it. And it's 1 out of 4 casinos, or all casinos on the Las Vegas Strip. But then they turn it up, turn it down, turn it up, turn it down on the returns. So you sort of have to use that. I have past live streams where I talk about that. No, I haven't been to Oklahoma to try. Tiffany asked, have I been to there? One of the things that is really kind of irritating me is I can't travel. I'm sort of stuck with a budget and working off, little less and less every month, but still working from my savings to try to establish this business. And I can't afford to go to Oklahoma and spend 3 days, and then go to Alabama and spend 3 days to go and play these bingo machines and figure them out. I've tried to figure them out from a distance. I was able to do that for the state of Washington slots that are based on the scratch ticket lottery system that was in the rules. It's easy enough to find. But I haven't, I need to sit in front of a bingo machine and puzzle over it, because that's how I figure stuff out. And I haven't been able to make that trip, which is sad. And so as soon as I am able to afford the trip, and I don't have travel funds, I will go sort that out for you. If you want to listen to somebody in Alabama who has figured it out, I don't know if he's still here, but if you talk to uh, Colt, that's right, Colt, then ask him. Have you? Oh, yep, I already answered that question. Thank you for the hashtag. Hashtag question, going with a $250 mixed cash bonus play. What average bet would you go for? Minimum. I would, that's not much. You want to be able to make as many bets as possible, and then you also want to plan, you know, uh, uh, try a strategy or two. If you have any past experience, use what you know. And use what you know and make the most of it. This is and if you want to talk with me about particulars, we'll see if there's something I can help you with. I can run it through. I don't know that it would be worth doing a paid consultation unless you've got specifics, and then some analysis and return statistics and some other things, which sounds like and that's what my paid consultations do, is create an action plan for what you are trying to accomplish at your casinos. I try to produce videos which are helpful to a lot of different people, but putting the plan together is very specific to your wants and needs and goals. Right. Miss Mary says, have you visited Harrah's Cherokee? If so, reviews. I don't have one for North Carolina. My North Carolina group here is fairly large. Hide that. North Carolina is there. And if you go there, this active group that likes to talk about how things are going. I have not been to Harrah's. There's 1,000 casinos, 2 a week, 10 years. That's how long it would take me to get to all of them. And there's a few I need to go to answer questions like Class 2 machines. That's really high on my list as far as a travel destination in Oklahoma, and might not be WinStar, might be. And then Alabama to see what the variation is there. There's 500 or so tribal casinos. Hardly any of them have Class 2 gaming. I was just did a video today about Alaska having bingo halls with machines, but I love Alaska, but I'm just like, no. And let's see here, questions. Charles asks, are poker slots set at the same payout odds as the regular slot machines? I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, there's a lot going on behind this question. First of all, video poker is not a slot machine in the state of Nevada because of Nevada Revised Code 14, Regulation 14.040, paragraph 5. It's a very clear statement. And so it is not a slot machine. It is set to the odds of that game of poker when it's offered on a table game. No variation. That's it. But if you're in any other state, then it is a slot machine, because I haven't found anything like that very clear statement. And slot manufacturers don't include extras on machines just for no reason. And if it's not required, it raises the cost. And why would, they would object? The casinos would object to that. So anywhere else, video poker machines are slot machines. And you can always check your gaming regs to see if it has a similar statement as the one in Nevada. But there are no same payout odds If you're talking about the average, they are included in the average already. So if you know slot machine odds for that casino for the month, which is what some return statistics show, they are included. If they are, um, uh, if you go to by slot machine denomination, the 6 states that have that, it's included. And uh, so, but going from machine to machine, how do I explain this? If you see a row of machines, they're all the same game. That's technically the game theme. Bunch of lightning links all in a row. They don't have the same odds. The one on the end is better. The one with a view is better. The one that's always taken is better because the locals know. So, search through machines that are highly visible and use my other techniques to find the one that works. Don't take the average for 10,000 slot machines and say that's applied equally to all. There's variance, there's volatility. I won't talk about volatility. It's because can't just like drop that in a sentence. But variance, it is an average value for the return statistics. And the theoretical payout isn't used. It's far too low for the casino to do any good there. Did I skip anything? Decal, do you think they, MGM, adjust for bus trips, senior days? Every Wednesday they bring in senior trips, and that seems when the odds are better. Um, what I would do is, if you are seeing a lot of this, look at the data. Do you win every time this happens? Most time it happens? There's your answer. You're Johnny on the spot. I'm not Johnny on the spot. I'm just Johnny. My family calls me Johnny, but you can call me PS. I think that answered the question. More questions from other people. Lots going on. Decal. Oh, that's not a question. That's not a question for me. Sorry. I clicked the wrong one. Jenny has a question. Do you like playing at Atlantic City? Is it worth the trip? Thank you. I haven't been to Atlantic City. I have heard a bunch of different comments. You can join my New Jersey, and again, New Jersey, here, New Jersey, and you can join that group. I've had a few people talk about the latest crimes that have been taking place there, and I was kind of put off a little bit. And please understand that I came out of a suburb of Flint, Michigan. I introduced myself in the first day of being a professor and of a class, and I'll say I'm from Flint, Michigan. And they say, where's that? And I would say, it's like Detroit, only bad. And so I don't mind things being a lot of crime. Mostly I avoid it. I go home. I don't go alone. I don't go when it's dark. That's what you get for living in downtown Flint, Michigan for 15 years, not having a car, working a job where you got off work at midnight, walking past the bars. Well, you don't have to walk past the bars. Anyway, that's just part of my life, and I'm not. That's what I hear about Atlantic City, and that's probably too bad. There might be some good things going on there, but that's kind of like a cutoff for me. I do have a New Jersey article, and let me see if I can bring that up for you. Right. So where is it? Where is it? There. I did this for New Jersey because it's such an important place, where I did the return to player return statistics, plotted them all out. And so while you didn't ask for this, you might be very interested in it. So there it is. I will share this. This is one of my review articles. If I click on it, we will go into the article itself. And I also have a video on this, which you can look up New Jersey on my YouTube channel and find my report here. This was done back 2021 for the to take a look at the returns due to the pandemic. And we have a fun character. There's a individual, a robot actually, who likes to come in on the Saturday show, and I apologize for what you just saw on the live chat. And if you're watching the recording later, you will never see that again. It's amazing what they can do, and like they know their time is up, and they got like 3 seconds, 3.5 seconds, 4 seconds, got to make it work. And I've realized it's a robot. Right. So when we look at this, there's a graph that I wanted to show you. Go to Harrah's. You see that? Make it, in case you have a small screen, I'll do that. Go to Harrah's, because from the beginning of 2019, they were always the best, except for a few exceptions. Don't go to Ocean, because that's the one that's along the bottom line. They got a little better. And Golden Nugget dropped a little low, and then it's kind of tied. But way up here is Harrah's. Way down here, I mean, there's just a clear gap. Borgata was kind of like second for a long time. And everything else is, a point or two less. Yeah. Yes, that was. So we had a scammer, and they missed last Tuesday's a week ago, last Thursday's 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks, and it only took them this long to find it. I have to laugh. It's not a very smart robot. It's hard to get offended when it's just a robot. Right. And do you have more questions? We've had 700, 800 views. We've got 86 people here, 93 concurrently. We peaked, and my voice is sort of giving out. Please ask your questions. I'll give it a few minutes. And see if you have any more questions. Otherwise, I will, call it a halt in a little bit early, maybe 8 minutes early. I will give you countdown: 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Too live. You really cut it close. Does the age of the machine play any factor over older versus newer? No. The older machines have been, how do I put this? The insides have been scraped out. The motors to the reels were kept, and the plug that to them was dangling, and they replaced the main action to be identical to the other machines in the casino. There's only one system in a casino. There's not an old system and a new system. There's just one system. So it may look old, but the interior is new. Exactly what the most recent video slot machine has. There's no such thing as old. It just has reels, physical reels. Yeah. Okay. That's it. What a great live stream. You'll see me in my next live stream on Saturday at noon Eastern. In the meantime, watch this video on how to use, what is it? Money. It's my playlist on money management. Please take a look at that. I recommend it highly, and I will talk to you